All right, everybody, buckle up. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of technical writing.
Sounds exciting.
It is. You know, sometimes information can feel like it's just overwhelming. Well, get ready to conquer that feeling because we're going to unpack something called the Document Development Lifecycle, or DDLC for short.
Ah, the DDLC.
Exactly. It was like this awesome framework for creating top-notch documentation. And lucky for us, we have an amazing guide, senior technical writer Curt Robbins.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, this guy's a legend. He's worked with companies like, FedEx, Microsoft, even Wells Fargo.
Seriously impressive. So, what's the big deal about this DDLC thing? Does it just make instruction manuals look pretty?
Well, it's definitely more than just aesthetics. It's more like a strategic roadmap, you
Oh,
know?
I see. Like a blueprint for success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Robbins really emphasizes that the DDLC is all about helping companies achieve their goals.
That makes sense. In today's world, I mean, everything's so tech driven, right? So, clear documentation is just, it's crucial.
Absolutely. Like, think about user success, product adoption, even a company's brand reputation. It all hinges on good documentation. And the DDLC ensures those documents, well, they hit the mark.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Right.
So, walk me through this DDLC thing. How many phases are there?
All right, get ready. There are 6 main phases: analysis, planning, design, development, review, and last but not least, maintenance.
6. Whoa, that sounds pretty intense.
It's a process, for sure, but a super valuable one. Let's break down those phases one by one, and we'll start with the first one, which is analysis.
An analysis. Okay, what's that all about?
Well, think of it like being a detective.
Ooh, I like that.
You got to understand your audience. What are their needs? What's the purpose of this whole document? Are we writing for experts or like everyday users?
Yeah, that makes total sense. Got to know who you're talking to.
Right. And you have to figure out like what tasks are they trying to accomplish?
It's all about context, isn't it?
It totally is. And Robbins is really clear that if you skip this analysis step, you risk creating documentation that totally misses the mark. And nobody wants a 200-page manual when all they need is a quick start guide, right?
Oh, for sure. Brevity is key,
Yeah.
especially nowadays. So, we've gathered our intel. What's next?
Okay, so after analysis comes the planning phase.
Planning.
Yeah, this is where you map out the entire project. Like, what's the scope? What's the timeline? Do we have the resources? And even, which tools are we going to use? It's like building a solid foundation.
Foundation is so important.
It really is. Okay, so analyzed, planned, what's next? Design.
Design. Is this where we pick fonts and color palettes?
Well, not exactly. It's more about the structure and the organization of the content. Like creating outlines, maybe some templates, style guides. It's all about consistency, clarity, making sure the document is easy to follow and easy to understand.
Oh, so like the information architecture.
It's exactly. You got it. All right, so we've analyzed our audience, we've got a plan, we've designed the structure. Now it's time for the main event, development. This is where the magic happens.
Your writing begins.
Exactly. We draft the content, and it's super important to work closely with the people who know the stuff, those subject matter experts. Remember all those tools we picked out during the planning phase?
Right.
They come in big time here, helping us manage all those versions, track the changes, streamline the collaboration.
Yeah, especially version control. That can be a lifesaver. I've had my share of accidentally saving over the wrong draft. It's a nightmare.
Oh, tell me about it. Version control, definitely a must. Okay, so we've got a draft. What's next?
Well, you can't just send out the first draft. Got to review it.
You're right. Review is all about quality control. The editors, peer reviewers, stakeholders, even maybe potential users, everyone's taking a close look. Are there any errors, inconsistencies, anything that needs to be improved? Yeah, Robbins is adamant that feedback during this stage is absolutely crucial. It's about ensuring the document does what it's supposed to do. Communicates effectively with the audience. No point in having a document that nobody understands.
Agreed. So after all that, is it finally done?
Almost. The final stage, the grand finale, is all about keeping things fresh. That's the maintenance phase.
Maintenance. Gotcha.
Yeah, keeping your documentation up to date, relevant, and accurate. Like, if the product changes, the document needs to change too. We got to incorporate user feedback, make sure everything aligns with the latest standards.
Makes sense. So it's a continuous cycle of improvement.
Exactly. Just like software needs updates, documentation needs love and care too.
So it's not a one and done kind of deal.
Nope. It's a living, breathing thing. Now, earlier you mentioned something that caught my attention. Single sourcing. What's that all about?
Single sourcing. It's a game changer. Imagine having one central source of content, like a master copy. And then you can reuse and adapt that content for different documents, formats, audiences. It's like a superpower for efficiency and consistency.
Wait, hold on. So instead of writing the same information over and over again, I can just like pull it from this central source.
Exactly. You get it. Think about it. You save tons of time, less chance for errors, and everything stays consistent across all your documentation. Plus, when something changes, let's say a software update, you only have to update it in one place. Boom.
I'm sold. That's incredible. Are there tools that can help with this single sourcing wizardry?
Oh, absolutely. Robbins mentions some heavy hitters in his article, like Adobe Framemaker, Confluence, DITA, MadCap Flare. These are powerful tools. They can handle content management, version control, you name it, even have automated publishing workflows.
Some of those sound familiar. Confluence, I've dabbled with that. The others, definitely going to check them out. Now, I know no system's perfect. Are there any challenges with the DDLC?
Well, like anything worthwhile, it requires a bit of a shift in thinking. You've got to commit to a more structured approach. And sometimes, well, you might run into resource dependency. You need writers, editors, subject matter experts, stakeholders. Everyone's got to be on board working together.
Right, so it's not a solo mission.
Definitely a team effort. Communication and collaboration are key here.
Okay, got it. So anything else to watch out for?
Well, some of the tools, especially those for single sourcing, they can have a bit of a learning curve.
So maybe some extra training might be helpful.
Exactly. But with the right support, most teams can get up to speed pretty quickly. It's all about finding the balance between structure and flexibility, tailoring the DDLC to fit the project and the organization.
Makes sense. It's not about being rigid. It's about being adaptable.
Mm.
So to sum it all up, why should anyone care about this DDLC? What's the big takeaway?
I think the biggest takeaway is that the DDLC, it's a proven framework. It helps you create high-quality documentation that actually meets user needs. It makes products easier to use, and in the end, it contributes to project success. Whether you're building software, designing hardware, or even just writing internal procedures, the DDLC can help you communicate information clearly, effectively, and efficiently.
It's about creating an experience for the user, not just a document.
You got it. It's about putting yourself in their shoes. How can we make this information as clear, as accessible, as helpful as possible? That's what it's all about.
All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the document development lifecycle.
Big thanks to Curt Robbins for giving us this amazing framework.
And to you, our wonderful listeners, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Keep those minds curious and those documents stellar.